are in Aschaffenburg. Just getting ready to take in the sights.
We hope we're going to find somewhere fun.
Yeah, that's right. But first we got to get across the street, which is looks a little hazardous. Here's a little idea of the interesting skyline that you see right here. This is the bell tower in a castle from the early 17th century, which is still standing.
It's the central landmark of the city.
And down this beautiful building. See, there are some school children over on the lawn. And down here, some beautiful flowers.
And here, a happy tourist.
And down here are the cobblestones, doubtless from a very early time. Another scan of this place.
Incidentally, this castle was right adjacent to the market square, and a farm market was in operation as we came.
This is one of the entrances, with evidently another group of tourists like us coming out. This is a magnificent old gate, and I particularly wanted to take the picture right now because you can hear the church bells tolling its noontime. This gives a diagram of the castle and tells a little bit about its history. It's been here a long time.
Here we're inside the inner courtyard of the castle. One of the charming aspects of our visit here was the carillon playing tunes which the people inside recognized and sang to.
That's where the sound is coming from. This is a side of the castle that faces the river, the Main River down here. Real pretty view. Looking down on the river from the castle grounds. In the shadow of the church is a lot of activity.
Including people enjoying outdoor cafes with the castle in the background.
We stopped for a little libation here. As you can see, it's a very attractive outdoor place. And we're having our drink on this beautiful little street, with the river down at the foot and some very, very old buildings on the other side.
This is one of the charming side streets, and these are couple scenes of downtown Aschaffenburg. This was a charming place where we spent our first night in the village of Heigenbrucken, and it was on a hillside overlooking the village below. The next day we reached Kempfenbrunn, the village of origin of our ancestor Johannes Weigand.
Here we are at the southern end of Kempfenbrunn, looking into the town, and all of a sudden there seems to have been a lot of traffic. Just looking around and taking a few shots here and there, we found a place that sells meat and cheese here, and we bought some. This is an area near a soccer field, which is very picturesque.
The field house for the soccer field appeared to be a very fine building.
Here's a view of the street coming into the town. John's on the sidewalk over here. And these are just some of the typically very pretty houses that you see. Everything is so clean and so quaint, so pretty. Here's an old linden tree in the middle of town. And because of the fact that it has a branch that kind of hangs out over the road, they just have a big warning sign up there to let people know. Visiting in the local cemetery, we find this very attractive grave of a rather recent member of the Weigand family. No known connection. Another view of the town from the cemetery, looking down on the town. We are inside the church at Kempfenbrunn, and these are some wall paintings from early in the 1500s.
Yes.
This niche here once had a Madonna in it, because at that time, of course, it was a Catholic church, and it only became a Protestant church sometime after the Reformation. Here's a picture of the signboard of the church, which basically says the Community Evangelical Church, which is what Lutheran churches are called. Here's a shot of the church from across the street. It is presently under major reconstruction. The roof is being totally rebuilt. The sanctuary is being rebuilt, and it is a major, major job. So even though we were inside it, we could not see much, we could not get much of an idea what it will be like when it's done.
The clock on the bell tower indicates it's time for lunch.
This is a shot in a little restaurant where we stopped for some lunch.
It's the boar's head.
Yeah, oh yes, there's the boar's head. All right. And the beautiful geraniums outside. I'm taking this picture of this old barn simply because there are very few buildings in this area that are in this condition, and what they typically do is to rebuild them completely, and they don't tear down buildings, they just rebuild them. And one can see from this one that it is quite old, that it has some very old framing in the walls, and the roof obviously is old also. The roofs around here are almost all this kind of tile. We are going through Kempfenbrunn now, coming from the north and going through, and we thought we'd just make a record. I'm shooting this through the windshield, so it might be just a trifle jiggly, but just want to get a kind of a view of what the town looks like as we travel through on this main road.
Large tree in the city square.
Yes, there's a large tree. Here's the church coming up on the left. construction. We're traveling in a nice new Mercedes compact car. It's very comfortable and we trust very efficient.
And very well driven.
Very well driven, oh yes indeed. Unquestionably. I'm not doing the driving obviously, or I hope it's obvious. I haven't encountered any big trucks yet this morning. That's neat. And now we're leaving town. We're on our way to Rothenburg, and we're on one of the German autobahns, which is analogous to our interstate system, except that they have somewhat different speed limits. See some of the truck traffic has a different appearance than some of ours.
Here's a map of Rothenburg with its high bluff on the southern end, near which flows the Tauber River.
We're now inside the old city of Rothenburg, and I'm just going to do a little bit of a scan, get an idea of what the streets and everything look like here. They're all very narrow streets. Here's Jonathan. Quite an amazing place.
But perhaps fascinating is a better adjective.
Noticed one house with the year 1500 and something on it. There's John in front of the town hall.
This is the market square, which is at the center of the ancient city, and you hear a babble of various languages by the various tourists who are here.
This is in the heart of the old city of Rothenburg. These are some figures above the city hall representing, I'm not sure what. I presume that the lady on the right with the balance means justice, and the plaque in the middle says something about the building itself, which was erected in 1681. Here's just a beautiful old site here, this building with its lovely flowers and so forth. There's John standing at the door of the place that we hope to be spending the night. It's a pension, which means it's a small lodging house. And these are the places where a lot of people find their lodgings in Germany rather than in the big formal hotels.
And here we were in our room at the pension, which was quite comfortable and had a nice view. We enjoyed a number of these. And here we were at St. James Cathedral, which is one of the central landmarks of the ancient city. Inside a container here up high is reputedly a drop of Jesus' blood.
To the left of that carving is this one of Jesus entering Jerusalem. This Last Supper carving shows him giving Judas the bread with John leaning on his breast. And this one in the far end is Jesus in Gethsemane. It's getting a little hazy now, but no telling that we'll be able to come back and get this again. This is just a wraparound kind of a view of the city. Now we're in the trees, but this is where we are. Turning around, this is called the Castle Gate, and as you can see, there are quite a few people getting ready to make a tour. We're now standing in the palace garden, which is quite an extensive affair. Extends out onto a high promontory of land on which the castle was built. I'm in the position now to be able to get a better view of the other part of this old city.
We're back in the market square listening to the music of a flute player. Here on this building are figures representing the 7 deadly sins and the 7 virtues. Not quite sure which is which, but the very last one, with the big belly, is kind of obvious. Water supply for an ancient walled city was vital, and this is the fountain on the market square.
Oh my God, no.
Guess what, folks? We're home. Nope, not that way. Not this way. Just wanted to get a shot of where we parked our car right next to the old wall, with the walkway up on top and the tower in the background, numerous towers along, and this lovely house, this lovely stone house with the window flowers and everything. Just really pretty. Just a beautiful view. We're up on the top of a tower, which is the highest point in the city, looking down. That's St. James Cathedral there. And around over here would be the Tauber River Valley.
That's the promontory on which the castle once stood, but has not been there for a long time.
Here we are up on top.
Enjoying the view.
There is, down in the valley there across the river, is what's called the double bridge. We're not quite sure why. Maybe it's one tier above the other. That's the restaurant in which we ate last evening. As you can see, we're every place. We're right now in the ruins of the old Heidelberg castle. It's about 6 o'clock in the evening here, and the light is fading, but the scene is beautiful and filled with interest, and our hope is that we might be able to come back tomorrow and get another look at it in better light. But the whole situation is very beautiful and romantic.
And the photographer is busy taking it all in.
Church bells ringing, 6 o'clock. This is at the lower end of this huge facade on this building. I'll back off here. Light's no longer very good, but I will scan upwards just to give some idea of what it looks like. Maybe you can make out that there are some glittering spots, and that's where they're doing some restoration. And it appears as though there is work going on in that regard, rather extensively, but we're not too sure how much at this point. But this was a huge fortress, huge castle, with immense thick walls and defenses. Even the ruins of this place are impressive.
The castle was destroyed by the French in 1693.
The dry moat down here. It's now 10 o'clock Sunday morning.
We're now in the inner court of the castle. The pictures we took last night were on the other side of this particular building.
It's just showing up differently this morning. I'll just zoom in on one of the statues of the many that are here. This is a very nice model. You can walk around it to show a little bit of the way this was laid out. this was the side that we approached last night. We are now on tour.
Yeah, now if you look here at our buildings, here in the middle, you can
This was the English language tour, and many of the folks here were Americans from Detroit.
If you compare it to the left side here, being built in the Gothic style, and then here in the middle, Renaissance style, you can see the differences quite well. The Renaissance style is very richly decorated compared to the Gothic style, the ornaments, the statues, more gold too. So that's, first of all, the main difference, at least to the eye.
We are inside the chapel here. We've arrived at the Rhine River, and we're going to be going on a ferry across to get to Rudesheim from a little town called Bingen. It's raining outside now, which is okay with us. First time.
How much, please?
350.
350.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We're in the little town of Rudesheim, which is a very quaint place. It's Sunday. This town is right next to the Rhine River, near where the Main comes in, so technically I guess it would be on the north bank of the Rhine at this point. And as you can see, lots of people shopping here, buses going by. There's a restaurant where John and I just had our lunch.
And here's the view from the inside looking out.
And during lunch it poured down rain, but now it's nice. I'll just give you a view of the street and all that's going on here, which is considerable. Trains go by here very often. You can see the Rhine River in the background, and over here is an excursion boat. Perhaps I'm shooting into the sun, I'm not sure, but this boat is filling up with passengers for a cruise on the river. There's a particularly picturesque street in this town, and it's obviously filled with shoppers and lookers. How about that music? Place we stayed in Rudesheim, and I thought I'd take a picture of it because the sign is so big and readable. We were in that top floor, right up there. Well, it's 8:30, September 23rd. We're getting ready to leave our room on the top floor of a pension in Rudesheim, and this is a view out of our window. We were reminded that it was time to get up by the church bell here at 7 o'clock this morning. It's rather a pretty view from out across the rooftops, although it isn't a very nice day today. We have been blessed with wonderful weather up to this time, so no complaints.
Here we were headed to a hilltop behind the village to view the scenes.
There's the car ferry, which we took to cross the Rhine yesterday. And here's the view as one looks up the Rhine River towards Rudesheim, where we stayed. Our pension was right next to that church. We are at a monument which commemorates the unification of Germany around 1870. I'm just giving a view that we can see from up here. It's really quite lovely. The Rhine River down below. I don't want to be in too big of a hurry with this. Then I will turn around and get a view of the monument. It is a huge monument that one can see from a great distance. And I'll try and bring it in a little bit better. This is the side that faces the river, and that huge figure up on top.
In the course of our 35-minute tour, we will be seeing many historical buildings, churches of different centuries, monasteries, and beautiful facades. We will be driving through many small lanes with much traffic. For safety reasons, it is forbidden to lean out of the windows. Parents are responsible for the safety of their children. The imperial baths are the remains of a 4th century AD Roman bathing palace. It was one of the largest in the Roman Empire and is today protected by the UNESCO as a part of the World Cultural Heritage of Humanity.
This is the one remaining Roman gate to the city. It is now called the Black Gate because it has turned black over time.
The view of the interior of the portal, Roman portal. I'm taking this view just to show how thick the walls were and the metal hinges upon which gates undoubtedly hung.
These are a couple of views in the central market area of the city of Trier.
We're entering the Roman amphitheater, which was largely built below the ground surface level. As you can see, it was dug out here. The stones that the tiers that people sat on have long since gone. Stones probably scavenged from here and used in other building projects. But you can see these little rooms here, which presumably were the animals or people or whatever waited to come out into the. Or possibly these underground rooms were where individuals came out into the arena. Don't have any information on that at the moment. The ones along the side are very, very small little cubicles. But this is actually a room down here with a ceiling and so forth, which of course has been restored. There's where we came in, and there was probably a big arch over that in former original times. And those little cubicles on the side, some are individual, some are connected together in a pattern which we don't really understand. Way over there, at that spot, you go down and there's an underground business that connects over to this side. And we have no idea what that was used for. It's, of course, all been restored with wood beams and so forth to hold up the ceiling, which obviously long ago disappeared, the originals. I'm taking this through the car window just to see the hillside. Steep slopes just everywhere are covered with vineyards. And they say that the reason that they grow so well here is that down deep is slate, which gets warm and stays warm and helps the grapes to grow. Some more of the country showing the great extent of the grapes. We stopped for a minute in a small town, and just a lovely sight. These small towns, this happens to be a place where you could stay overnight and have a nice room with a shower and everything. Easy to find in these small towns, not so easy to find in the big cities. We're headed back to Frankfurt, from which we will take a flight tomorrow back home. It has been a most memorable week.
Thank you.